Then it would sound as though the hounds were turning. "Coach will tear us a new one." Valentina did not reply to Tootie's suggestion, speaking about the coach's wrath instead. "Coach, what about Mrs. Norton?" Felicity thought the headmistress's disapproval would be more severe than Bunny Tolliver's, the riding coach, although Bunny naturally leaned toward censure. "Wonder if they'll know we're not with the field. I mean, it's possible they're still in the fog, too. Sister Jane would get really upset if she thought we were in trouble." Valentina inhaled deeply. "If they don't know, let's swear never to tell." "The Three Musketeers," Tootie half smiled. "All for one and one for all," Valentina beamed. "But you always manage to be first among equals, Val. It's not exactly all for one and one for all. It's all for Valentino and then maybe Val for all," Tootie said, shooting a barb. "Tootie, you can really be the African queen when you're in a mood, you know?" Valentina raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, right." Tootie, an exceptionally beautiful green-eyed African-American, shrugged it off. "Will you two get over yourselves? If we don't find our way back, we're in deep doo-doo. If we do find the field, we're still in deep doo-doo, but maybe not as deep. Felicity, say shit and be done with it." Val took out some of her discomfort on her sober classmate. $1. "I could learn to hate you." Valentina fetched another crinkled dollar, fuming as Tootie hid a smile behind her gloved hand. "Thank you." This time Felicity snatched the money. Hounds sounded as if they were swinging toward them. The notes on the horn played one long note, followed by a series of doubled and even tripled notes. One long note, and the process was repeated. "All on," Tootie remarked. Bunny Tolliver drummed the basics of foxhunting into those students she selected as proficient enough to ride hard over big fences and uneven ground. The show ring riders who panicked outside of a flat ring where they counted strides could never join the chosen few. This caused tensions, because often the show ring girls looked much prettier on a horse. Unfortunately, flying down a steep hill usually meant they popped off their horses like toast. The sound of oof and oh punctuated the hoofbeats on those occasions. Valentina, Tootie, and Felicity performed well in the show ring. They'd made the school team, but they excelled over terrain, so had earned the privilege to hunt. Each girl could handle sudden situations calling for split-second decisions, and each girl could usually keep a horse between her legs even when the footing was slick as an eel. What Bunny prized most about them was they were bold, keen, go-forward girls. All on and heading our way. Felicity recognized the horn call, straining to make sure her ears weren't playing tricks on her. "Christ, they'll all see us!" Valentina worried more about saving face than getting chewed out. $1. "Christ isn't swearing." "Christ isn't swearing. You are." Felicity, in a rare moment of dry humor, held out her hand. "Not fair." Valentina bit her lip. "Oh, pay up. You've got more money than God anyway." Tootie half laughed. "Sure," Valentina said sarcastically. All of the girls came from wealthy families, but Valentina received the largest allowance and was the envy of the other students. To her credit, she was generous. She forked over the dollar bill. "Look, they really are coming this way. Let's slip back into the mists. We can bring up the rear right after they cross Broad Creek," Tootie suggested. "Fox could turn," Felicity considered the gamble. "Yes, but if he doesn't, the crossing is up past the trees. We'll hear them. If they turn, we'll keep going until we find the hog's back and head toward Sister Jane's." The kennels were at Sister Jane's farm, Roughneck Farm. Jane Arnold had been master of the Jefferson hunt for over 30 years. Her late husband had also been a master. Vote. Felicity thought this would short-circuit Valentina's protest, since Valentina hated agreeing readily with Tootie. "You don't have to vote." Valentina turned toward Tootie. Mist rising a bit, swirling around the beautiful girl. "It's a good plan." "I can't believe you said that." Tootie giggled. We'd better remember this day." They would, but for quite different reasons. They backtracked 50 yards from the creek crossing. "Why?" Felicity asked. "Because the other horses will smell ours," Tootie sensibly replied. "Go on back a little more." "Tootie, we'll lose them again." Valentina was more worried about Bunny and Mrs. Norton, the headmistress, than she cared to admit. "No, we won't. Let me be in the front this time." Tootie rode tail during the entire hunt, which is one of the reasons they got lost. Felicity in front didn't have the best sense of direction. When the whole field jumped a black coop in the fog, they landed into a woods, ground covered with pine needles. Those needles soaked up the sound of hoofbeats. By the time Tootie got over the fence, Felicity had turned left instead of right with the others. It was too late to catch them. For 10 minutes they couldn't hear a thing, not the horses, not the hounds, not the horn. So Tootie led them south along Broad Creek, since she could hear the water. Neither Valentina nor Felicity argued, since both knew Tootie was a homing pigeon. They quietly waited. A splash sent the ears of 3 horses forward. The humans heard it, too. Comet reached their side of the bank, shook, then sauntered toward them. "You 3 are as useless as tits on a boar hog," the male gray fox insulted them. "Tally-ho!" Felicity whispered as though the other 2 couldn't see the fox sitting right in front of them. Tootie glared at her. One should not speak when the fox was close, nor when hounds were close. The correct response would be to take off your cap, point in the direction in which the fox would be traveling, and point your horse's head in that direction also. "Tally human!" Comet flicked his tail, tilted his head. He could gauge the sound of the hounds far more accurately than the 3 girls before him. "Well, chums, think I'll motor on. You look ridiculous sitting here in the middle of the cover, you know." He vanished. "He barked at us!" Valentina was thrilled. "I've never been that close to a fox." Felicity was awed and a little scared to look the quarry square in the eye. The beautiful music of hounds in full cry came closer. The girls stopped talking, almost holding their breath. Moneybags, Valentina's big boy, started the chortle that leads to a whinny. She leaned over, pressing her fingers along his neck, which he liked. "Money, shut up." He did, just as the head hound, a large tricolor dragon, vaulted off the far bank into the water. Trident, Diana, and Dreamboat followed closely behind the lead hound. Within a minute, the girls heard the larger splashing sound of Showboat, the huntsman's horse, fording the creek deep thanks to recent, steady, heavy rains. Another 4 minutes elapsed before Keepsake, Sister Jane's hardy 9-year-old thoroughbred quarter-horse cross, managed the waters. After that, the cacophony of splashing hooves and grunts from riders, faces wet from the horses in front of them, filled the air. "Come on," Tootie said, as loudly as she dared. The 3 crept forward just as the noise seemed finished. Crawford Howard suddenly crossed, though. He'd fallen behind. He was startled to see the 3 young women riding out of the mists, as was his horse, Zapaka, who shied, unseating Crawford right in the middle of Broad Creek. "Oh, shit," Valentina said low. $1. Felicity truly was single-minded. "Not now, F. We got to get 'em up, apologize, and get with the field before we lose them again." Tootie hopped off Iota, her horse, handing the reins to Valentina. "Mr. Howard, this is my fault. I am so sorry." She waded into the creek, cold water spilling over her boots down into her socks. Swiftly she grabbed Zapaka's reins, still over his head. Zapaka considered charging out and leaving Crawford. A warm-blood, big-bodied fellow. He wasn't over-fond of his owner. "Whoa," Tootie firmly said. "Oh, bother, I hope he freezes his ass." The horse did stand still, though. "Then he'll kick yours," called out Parson, Felicity's horse. "I can dump him any time I want," Zapaka bragged. "The only reason I let him sit up there like a damn tick is I like following the hounds and being with all you guys." Tootie led Zapaka out. He stepped up on the bank. Crawford sloshed out. While he could be pompous on occasion, he did see the humor of the situation. Besides, fox hunters had to expect the occasional opportunity to show off their breaststroke. The mist rose slowly, the sun higher in the sky now on this brisk October day. But one could still only see 50 feet. Tootie looked for a place where Crawford could stand to mount his big horse. The huge knees of the gnarly tree wouldn't do. They'd be slippery, adding insult to injury. "Val, you hold Zapaka while I give Mr. Howard a leg up." Valentina, at 6 feet 1 inch, 1 inch taller than Sister Jane, was stronger than Tootie, who stood at 5'4". "You hold. I'll give him the leg up." She handed Iota